So what can the destruction of the Library of Alexandria tell us about whether we need custodians of knowledge? Welcome to TOK Today, I'm Daniel. Let me start with a little background on the Library of Alexandria. The Library of Alexandria, situated in Alexandria, Egypt, was one of antiquity's most renowned centres of knowledge and scholarly activity. Founded in the 3rd century BCE under the Ptolemaic dynasty, it aimed to collect the world's wisdom. However, its destruction is shrouded in mystery and has become synonymous with the loss of invaluable knowledge. Various accounts suggest different phases of decline and destruction. The first significant blow is thought to have occurred in 48 BCE when Julius Caesar set fire to the flames purportedly spread to parts of the city, including the library. Additional harm was inflicted under the reign of Emperor Theophilus in 391 CE, who sought to eliminate pagan influences, and further during the decree of Theodosius that closed all pagan temples. In 642 CE, after the Islamic conquest of Alexandria, any remaining traces of the library were possibly lost forever. Now, the cumulative effects of these incidents resulted in the irretrievable loss of countless ancient scrolls, texts, documents, and artifacts. What are the TOK implications of the destruction of the library? The Library of Alexandria could be seen as a custodian of knowledge. At the time of its first destruction, it was thought to contain the greatest documented collection of human knowledge up until that point in time. It was a protective store of all that was thought to be worthy to document and store, a veritable vault of the best knowledge of human civilization. As such, its destruction could be seen as a significant rupture in the continuum of human knowledge. Now, this argument could be seen as the reason why we do need custodians of knowledge. The documents in the library could have provided us with an understanding of how the ancient world operated, their tools, their engineering techniques, their values and social systems. Some of this knowledge may have helped us in the subsequent 2,000 years to avoid some of the mistakes that we've made and to produce better knowledge still. Much of this was lost in the 3 main destructive events. And this is the cumulative theory of knowledge, and it creates a fairly compelling, if obvious, argument as to why we do need custodians of knowledge. However, we can develop counter-arguments. That's arguments that the loss of the knowledge in the library did not create significant problems, or may even have been a positive for the development of new knowledge. In other words, can we develop arguments that we don't need custodians of knowledge? So the first argument is centred around exclusivity. And this first argument is that the positive role of the library could be developed from the exclusivity of knowledge. Now, it's a fair assumption that not many people had the ability to read and write in the ancient world. It wasn't so long ago that even in today's fully literate societies, a minority of people could read and write. And if these skills were also rare in the ancient world, then access to the knowledge held in the Library at Alexandria would have been limited and restricted to a minority of people. Add to this that the access would probably have been granted according to membership of elite groups based on religious, political or academic interests and social class, and we start to see that the knowledge would have been the reserve of an elite group. Exclusionary access to knowledge can often develop into power hierarchies, which can be used to consolidate and further reproduce privilege. The challenges for the evolution of knowledge that such power hierarchies can create leads us to our second argument against the library as a custodian of knowledge, and that's the problem of innovation. Now, if a select group of people have access to knowledge that they use to consolidate their own power, we can see an inherent conservation and possible stagnation in that knowledge. There are very few pressures on knowledge to be adapted and evolved if it serves to maintain the current conditions. As such, innovative ideas or new knowledge or fresh ideas are far less likely to appear. If they do appear, they're far less likely to be accepted into the library of legitimised knowledge, And this is the gatekeeper's argument of the ancient world. For example, a stonemason is far less likely to have a great new idea for building pyramids if they're unable to read the established knowledge for building pyramids. And even if they did have that great new idea, it's far less likely to be accepted and adopted if they're not part of the social, religious or political elite groups that have access to and authorize knowledge in the library. Authorize. Authorize. Author-eyes. That's an interesting word. I'd never really thought of it in that sense before. I'd never really thought about it meaning to give legitimacy to an author or to give legitimacy to an author's ideas. Interesting. So back to the library. Now, this is the argument that exclusive libraries can stifle the innovation of new ideas or new knowledge. That's why you should support your local public libraries, my friends. And this also leads us to our third argument against the library as a custodian of knowledge. So we can call this argument the people as knowers argument. And this argument's based on the means or location of the storage of knowledge. In some ways, it's an argument about technology. Some societies don't have writing. These are often called oral cultures, non-literate cultures, or pre-literate cultures. And some indigenous cultures fit into this category. In these societies, knowledge is stored in people rather than in books and documents. The knowledge of the society is the sum total of all the knowledge of the people. People pass knowledge to each other and from one generation to the next generation using stories, music and art. These societies could be seen as having more inclusive access to knowledge than literate societies. Roughly, in an oral society, everyone has the rights and means to access to all of the knowledge. It could be argued that knowledge in such societies is far more open to innovation, evolution, and fresh ideas. New knowledge will arise from the lived experiences of the people, and it will be verified and legitimized through the collective experiences of the people. It could be argued that libraries take people away from the primary experience of knowledge and therefore remove both their awareness and acceptance of new experiences and therefore potential new knowledge. So this is an argument that libraries stifle innovation by taking knowledge away from people. Let me be clear, this is not my point of view. I love libraries. Many of my happiest moments have been in libraries. I'm only looking at ways of developing arguments against the need for custodians of knowledge. In summary, we could argue that the destruction of the Library of Alexandria may have led to increased pressures for the innovation of new knowledge because the established knowledge was destroyed. And this new knowledge may have been better adapted for the new conditions, such as living under the new Roman Empire or the Byzantine Empire. And it may have led to more people both contributing to the development of this knowledge and knowing the new knowledge. Of course, personally, I don't believe any of this. I think that knowledge is sacred, libraries are temples of enlightenment, and that we should never ever destroy books, nor libraries. But such are the lengths that we are willing to go in pursuit of making counter-arguments in TOK. Now, if you want to know more for Essay 5, and if you want detailed guidance notes for this essay, then click the link in the video description to go to the guidance notes that give you the knowledge arguments, the counter-argument, the evaluation, and even the implications. And if you enjoyed today's video, then I would be so grateful if you could go to the lengths of just pressing the like button, and I would be overjoyed if you could give me a subscribe. And if you want to reciprocate further, then please feel free to buy me a coffee. Link in the video description. Many thanks for watching, my friends. Stay talktastic. Bye.